JLR Investigates is not who we thought he was. These are some shocking reports. Welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday, March 23rd, 7:49 a.m. And I haven't done a video in a couple days because I had my grandson with me and I was holding space for Nancy Guthrie. And I promised to do the UFO general that was missing, but at the same time, this is the weekend if it's going to happen for me. In my investigative report with the FBI, that Nancy's gonna be found, in my opinion, and so I've been holding space for that, and I'm praying that this will happen this weekend. But I have to bring you this report because I've publicly said I thought JLR had transformed, and so did Jennifer Coffindoffer, and I publicly posted a map here that JLR reported was given to him by neighbors, and now I'm not so sure that those are accurate reportings given what we're learning today and last night about JLR. This is a New York Post's article that's very in depth about him and his criminal past. And I have to state here, I knew I had seen pictures of him that looked somewhat racist, blackface and stuff. Um, and I had heard about his past and him being in jail for 10 years, but I really had no knowledge other than that of what he was, accused of, some of the things he had done. Like, I really didn't know. So, in reading and watching Gavin's reporting last night, I was pretty shocked and disappointed because during his live stream, somebody had asked him when he was out in front of Nancy's, on the call in where, hey, how's Magnolia? Oh, everything's fine. And meanwhile, while he's outside of Nancy Guthrie's, she's filing a restraining order and successfully obtaining it. And a lot of this went down in Washington over Christmas Day to be exact. And this restraining order was filed while he was sitting outside in front of Nancy Guthrie's house, like everything is hokey dokey in their life. And meanwhile, Magnolia had broken nose, ribs, I think, cracked. Yeah, so it's not good. I mean, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, but Gavin Fish, which I'll show you after I read this report, goes into some of the details from the court documents, and it's not great. It's definitely not great. And when you put the past together, with which I'm going to read to you here, that I wasn't aware of all the details, it's not great. And so I have unsubscribed and I will not follow and listen with him in the background anymore. Covering Nancy Guthrie, I refuse to support people like this. I just refuse to. And regrettably sent him an email because he had all those psychics up. And I thought it was just, some of them were just ridiculous. And I didn't want the world to get that kind of an impression that psychics work like this, like real psychics, like our Find Me group works. So I sent him an email saying, hey, follow this, look at this. This is the group I belong to. Here's what real psychics look like in this group. We don't parade out in front of a house and pretend we're picking up energy and say, I don't want to be on camera, and then look back at you while hoping you're recording me. I mean, it's just some of the ridiculousness that went on was actually embarrassing. And now I'm regretting even sending him that because it was against my better judgment. I debated it and people were like, send GLR, Dolly. Dolly's, let's just say, Dolly's brother is a registered SA, and I don't know if he still lives with him, but he did. So I'm not here to trash Dolly because that's his brother, but people that pretend to be people that they're not on YouTube is part of the true crime genre. And, my dad always taught me a leopard never loses its stripes or spots or whatever the saying is. And that would be true here. And I let my guard slip because I was wanting to prove a point, I guess. And I regret messaging him now. Not that he reached out or anything, but I want nothing to do with him. And you can choose for yourself. Because I had said, thank God Jennifer is giving him a chance to restore himself, because I was a coach and I believe in people being able to change, themselves if they work hard on themselves. But this is not that. This is definitely not that. So let's get into it and let's read the report And then I'll show you some of Gavin's reporting because they're very different. This report talks about his history, his past, and yes, he's a little bit into the DV accusations, but Gavin goes into the court documents and it's pretty disturbing. So I'll cover a little bit of that as well. So this was posted March 20th by the New York Times. So yesterday at 4:15 p.m. Oh boy. True crime YouTube star Jonathan Lee Richens, aka JLR Investigates, is accused of brutally beating, strangling, and threatening to kill a former girlfriend, she claims in court documents. Again, everybody's innocent until proven in a court of law, but doesn't look so innocent in this. Let me just say. In a sworn petition filed in Arkansas, Jamie Tennille Phillips, known as Magnolia on the YouTube's channel, claims Rich's 49 carried out a violent attack on Christmas Eve 2025, capping what she describes as a years-long pattern of abuse that included him repeatedly strangling her. The filing obtained by the Post alleges Rich's a convicted felon who spent 10 years in federal prison over credit card fraud scheme was in a relationship with Phillips beginning early 2023 that spiraled into a persistent and escalating pattern of domestic abuse, coercive control, intimidation, financial exploitation, and physical violence. Here he is, outside, covering Annie and Tommaso's home. And there's Magnolia. And somebody even asked him when they called in, when he was out front of Nancy's home, and he had all those people calling in, "How's Magnolia?" "Oh, everything's good. Everything's fine." Meanwhile, Magnolia is sitting here in a different state, filing a restraining order successfully, and injured and badly injured. And yeah, and it was just passed off like, "Hey, no problem. No problem to see here," by JLR himself. So there's Magnolia, who dated him from 2023 until an explosive fight over Christmas last year in Washington State. So that is 3 months ago. January, February. Yeah, 3 months. And 2 of those months, he's out sitting outside covering Nancy Guthrie. That makes sense. According to a handwritten affidavit, the alleged December 24 assault left Phillips with extreme injuries, including broken nose and septum, significant trauma to my head and ribs, requiring emergency medical care, CT scans, and x-rays that she will need reconstructive surgery. Phillips claims Rich's assaulted her on multiple occasions, beat her with closed fist in a separate alleged August 2025 attack, strangled her roughly 24 times, and threatened to kill her if she reported him, the filing alleges. She also alleges ongoing harassment after the Christmas incident, which took place in Washington State, including threats, intimidation, and financial abuse. Now, don't forget Bob Kruger, who showed up on his live stream just a few days before he went back home to Florida, picked up his cell phone and asked him and said, "Oh, Washington." And yes, JLR said, yeah, his second phone he was using was a Washington phone number. Well, it gets a little more interesting. Stick with me. So again, she alleges ongoing harassment after the Christmas incident, which took place in Washington State, including threats, intimidation, and financial abuse. On January 21st, 2026, the court issued an order of protection finding there was sufficient evidence Phillips faced an immediate and present danger of domestic abuse. This is what the courts found. The court issued an order of protection on January 21st, 2026. 10 days later, or 11 days later, he's sitting in front of Nancy Guthrie's home like nothing's going down. There was sufficient evidence that Phillips faced an immediate and present danger of domestic abuse. Now let that sink in as we're reporting on crimes. There's the mugshot that was taken around 2012 after he was arrested for breaking the terms of his parole. And I just have to say, I see now why he wears a cap, because he doesn't look so friendly when you see him without his baseball cap. It changes his look considerably. And before I messaged him, I debated because I could see, you could see a bit of the hair growing in by his cap. And then interestingly enough, I noticed the next day he had shaved it. And I was curious, I have to say, why he shaves his head. Is he like the bald look? Is he just not have enough hair, which it looks like on this picture, to really grow a head of hair that he just keeps it? Or is he still pretending, or perhaps involved in some activities where he's trying to like keep himself from shedding skin and hair follicles? I don't know. It's just, or did he like being shaved because he was in jail for 10 years with a shaved head? I don't know. It's just an interesting note that's not relevant here, but it's just something that did pique my interest. So there he is after 2012, after he was arrested for breaking the terms of his parole. So yes, he has a tendency of breaking parole terms. um, let's keep going. Riches has not responded to the allegations, and he and his lawyer did not return the Post's request for comment. Chelan County Sheriff's Office in the Washington sent the Post an incident report which says that they had probable cause to arrest Riches, that he had left the state. He has not formally been charged in relation to the incident, and no warrant appears to have been issued for his arrest. Phillips herself has a colorful past. It's not good. Having been accused in 2017 of fabricating a story about being impregnated by Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore as a teenager, which she tried to get the Washington Post to run. Hey, Phipps claims she helped Riches turn his life around and built up his YouTube channel, but he was frequently abusive towards her. Now, he has also admitted when he was outside streaming in Nancy Guthrie's case that he had only had his channel for 3 years, and she's saying she helped him, which, she used to be on with him and doing all the stories in the background, because from what I understand, she has a bit of a reporting investigative background. And so, yeah, she probably can be credited for building up his YouTube channel so fast. Phillips told the Post, "I was duped for so long. He betrayed himself as if he had changed and turned his life around, but that's not real. He's the same way he's always been. He's a fraud. The only thing he cares about is money. He doesn't care about the cases. He loves when there's a mass shooting. He gets excited because he knows he'll get a lot of views and a lot of money." Rich has reinvented himself as JLR Investigates, a YouTube channel which has grown to more than 500,000 subscribers around 3 years ago after a lifetime of frauds, fakeries, and manipulation. He describes himself as a fearless investigator and inserts himself into high-profile investigations to live stream. Most recently, he has been broadcasting from Tucson, Arizona, outside the house of missing Nancy Guthrie. He's basically a big celebrity in the true crime community. Fellow true crimer streamer Alina Smith told the Post. There he is in front of Nancy's, and then below, Tommaso and Annie's. Riches has gained a reputation for being one of the most persistent streamers, filming up to 15 hours a day, responding to questions in real time, accepting money from viewers to complete tasks such as zooming on certain parts of a crime scene. The more subscribers he gets, the more profitable his YouTube videos become, regardless of whether the information he reports is fact or fiction. That's why he was in Tucson for over a month. It's easy money for him because he just sets up a camera and lets it go, Phillips added. Other streamers have estimated that the Post makes up to $30,000 a week with his persistent boots on the ground approach. Here's a picture of Riches and Phillips in happier times. She now accuses him of domestic abuse, as a restraining order against him at Magnolia Investigates YouTube. But his audience are likely unaware of just how sinister Rich's past is. Here we go, guys. Buckle up. In 2019, he openly admitted to being a troll and fabricating highly sensitive information after he was called out for pretending to be Jewish and giving a fake backstory at a Trump rally. I don't think about the long-term consequences as far as disinformation or offending anybody, Riches told the Huffington Post in 2019. The disinformation that I want, I can put out there. The next mass shooting, before they identify the shooter, I can set up 10 Twitter accounts looking like news sites and then create whoever I want as the shooter. Let me repeat that. The disinformation I want, I can put out there. The next mass shooting, before they identify the shooter, I can set up 10 Twitter accounts looking like news sites and then create whoever I want as the shooter. Vulnerable, gullible people will see that. They think it's from a news site and then they will copy it and tweet it out. Wow. Rich's operation has drawn criticism from authorities and journalists alike as he is part of a growing ecosystem of YouTube crime scene streamers who monetize targeted by broadcasting from active investigations. However, Rich's notoriety long predates the live stream era. Fraud ring and federal prison. According to federal court reports, Richens was indicted in 2003 in the Southern District of Texas alongside several co-defendants for a credit card fraud scheme. The indictment claimed the conspirators used stolen financial data to obtain money and property through fraudulent transactions. Riches was released in Florida in February 2003 and brought to Texas to face the charges, entering a guilty plea to conspiracy and wire fraud counts in September that year. A federal judge sentenced him to 125 months in prison for wire fraud and 60 months for conspiracy to run concurrently, along with $62,680 in restitution to victims, according to the criminal docket. Here's a picture of Riches, says Jews for Trump, says has no religious affiliation, but has passed himself off as a Jews for Trump supporter. He is also posed as a Muslim and attended rallies for both Trump and Hillary Clinton. Gets even more disgusting here. Most litigious inmate. While incarcerated, Riches flooded federal courts with thousands of bizarre, frivolous lawsuits targeting politicians, companies, public figures, and celebrities, including one against the Kardashian family for allegedly participating in an Al Qaeda training. Yeah. The cases were quickly dismissed. The sheer volume, listen to this. I had heard this as well, but again, I didn't know the details. The sheer volume of Rich's lawsuits, estimated at over 4,000, ultimately forced federal prosecutors to seek an unprecedented nationwide injunction against him to prevent him from suing. He was also banned from having paper when he was in jail from his cell. In response, Riches went on a hunger strike for 22 days, and a warden had to force feed him through a tube. Here's a picture of him with Hillary Clinton. Oh, that was a Freudian slip. Hillary Clinton. Riches also posed with Hillary when she was on the campaign trail, writing, "The Clintons were so easy to troll." Wow, Jonathan Lee Riches. Well, Sandy Hook's hoax. After being released in 2012, Riches returned to Pennsylvania. This one I hadn't heard about. After being released from whatever in 2012, Riches returned to Pennsylvania on a supervised release, but almost immediately found himself back in legal trouble. He traveled to Newtown, Connecticut, 3 days after the Sandy Hook elementary school massacre that left 20 first graders and 6 staff members dead. And he attended a memorial where he falsely claimed to be the uncle of the gunman, Adam Lanza, according to local authorities and court filings. He said he was Jonathan Lanza and made unsubstantiated claims about the shooter's mental health, which were quickly debunked. Here he is in a picture. Riches is sworn by press after identifying himself as Jonathan Lanza, uncle of Adam Lanza in Newton, Connecticut, on Sunday, December 16th, 2012. Now, I understand that's 14 years ago, and people, hopefully in my maybe naive accounting, maybe some people can change, but given the reporting of what happened just 3 months ago, I don't think that's the case here. 3 days later, which we're going to get to, in a little bit. 3 days later, Riches posts on YouTube a video of a trip in which he attempted to approach Lance's home before being stopped by a police barricade. Jesus. Or blockade, rather. Sorry. We are truth seekers. Yeah. We're going to find out why Adams was mind controlled and manipulated to go in and allegedly shoot little kids in Sandy Hook Elementary School and why this happened, Riches said in his clip, as reported by New Haven Register. A few weeks later, Riches found himself back behind bars for violating the terms of his probation by crossing state lines. From there, his phony lawsuits kept coming. In March 2016, he filed a civil lawsuit against Representative Gabrielle Giffords, posing as the man who shot her and killed 6 people several years later. Wow. According to the criminal complaint, he posed as the Jared Loeffner, the gunman who tried to assassinate Giffords. The complaint sought $25 million. Riches pleaded guilty to a charge of making false statements. According to court records, he was sentenced to 5 years probation. Jesus. Ugh. Here's a picture of Riches wearing his own JLR media merchandise as he broadcasts from Arizona. He later told the Arizona Republic that he filed the fake lawsuits as a joke to entertain himself in prison. Riches was released from federal prison in May 2016, according to the Bureau of Prison Inmates Locator. However, his headline-grabbing stunts and questionable antics continue to evolve. I'm very confused over the timeline. I thought he was sentenced to 10 years, but okay. Let's keep going here. During the Bill Cosby's trial in September 2016, he showed up in court repeatedly offering the disgraced rapist Jell-O each time he entered. Weeks later, he surfaced in Florida alongside then gubernatorial hopeful Andrew Gillum, posing as Black Lives Matter protester. Some of his most recent audacious acts came from disguising himself as both a Muslim and a Jewish attendee at political events, including rallies for now President Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. He confirmed to the Huffington Post he was an atheist from a Christian family and confirmed that at that time he didn't practice any religion. The live stream investigator. We're not done, boys and girls. Wow. In recent years, Riches has attempted to reinvent himself online under the brand JLR Investigates. While he markets himself as a crime scene investigator chasing the truth behind high-profile cases, critics say his appearances often amount to nothing but exploitation, interference, and spreading disinformation. In one such incident, a business card was left on Nancy Guthrie's front door. Riches told his viewers she might have been at the center of an active elder abuse case prior to the disappearance. Listen, that is just speculation, and that is different. Like, that I don't think, we're all wondering why that card was there. So that might be a bit of a stretch, but the other stuff, this is the True Crime Live streamer George Schultz on the right with Crystal Rogers in the green hoodie with Riches outside Nancy Guthrie's home. The card was from the case manager from Arizona Adult Protective Services Division, who later confirmed it was dropped off by after she was reported missing so she could contact the agency if she returned home safely. Oh, see, I didn't know that they had reported that. So that's good to clarify, assuming the New York Post knows what they're talking about in this article, because it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder because well, I don't know, but this is not good. This is not good for him. This is just not good for him. And like I said, I've unsubscribed and I will not follow him anymore. I don't care if it goes back to Arizona. I won't be playing it in the background anymore. Wow. A lack of information leads to speculation, Riches told the Republic while live streaming outside Guthrie's home in February. This practice mirrors a growing trend highlighted in recent reporting by the Post about the YouTubers who earn thousands of dollars from live streamings outside active investigations, broadcasting theories, and commentary to viewers. Law enforcement officials and victim advocates have warned that the practice can complicate investigations and implicate innocent people and victims, wreaking havoc on their lives. For some top earning live streamers like Riches, it appears notoriety and infamy can actually work in their favor. Crime Scene Collective co-founder Alina Smith told the Post that she has seen fans of Riches fly in from interstate and show up at the scene simply to meet and greet with him. Many of them came bearing gifts, she said. Others simply donate cash to him online. They're obsessed with him, she said. Yeah. And that appears to be the end of this article. So let's just show you Gavin's quick article or live stream, and I'll let you read the final or watch the final reporting of his on your own. But let's watch that for a second here. Okay, the second half here. I said I was going to show you Gavin Fish, but I found Jula's here did a much shorter investigation. So let's watch what she says. She did a much shorter reporting of this. So let's watch this.
You guys, I have been warning people about JLR for a super, super, super long time. This is not the situation that I wanted to be discussing when I said I told you so. But this is just what it is. So let's just freaking get into it. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer, everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. I got on Twitter not long ago. It's around 4:45 p.m. on 3/19/2026 and saw this and instantly felt all kinds of things just coming back. I'm angry. I'm like on the verge of crying because of some of the details that I am reading in this situation. And the fact that this is something that I have been telling people when it comes to stay away from JLR. People like that don't freaking change. It's all a ruse. No one's jealous of anyone. When you've already seen evil, when you've already looked the devil in his eyes as he's trying to take your last breath from your body, you can see it from a mile away. JLR has just had a protective order placed against him from Magnolia. You guys know who that is if you know anything about JLR. She's been around a super, super lot, or at least she was around a super, super lot after he stopped hanging out with Bullhorn Betty and Chronicles of Olivia. Suddenly it was Magnolia. Now, I wasn't aware that they were in an actual relationship. I thought it was some sort of partnership thing and that they were just working together. These documents state otherwise. And I need you to be prepared for what you're about to hear, especially.
So yes, at the beginning too, I thought the same thing, and then it became clear they were doing Christmas stuff. But at the beginning, it seemed to be they were keeping their relationship. And like I said, I didn't follow him, but you know, you'd watch like 30-second clips here and there, and you kind of picked up that vibe. And I really didn't follow him until Nancy Guthrie, and redact my kudos to him for transforming his life now, because I did say that, and now I want to redact it publicly because he isn't transformed, in my opinion.
If you're someone who's been through things like I have. And anyone else that comes over here trying to take up for this piece of shit, I'm just going to straight up block you because I don't have time for someone with that kind of mindset. I just don't. Now, again, I want to thank Nerdy Addicts because he actually has some stuff up on his own website where he has the actual police reports, and on his Twitter page where he originally posted this that I noticed, he also has the link straight to the arcourts.gov website where all of the things that happened in court this week over the past couple of days on St. Patrick's Day is the last update on here. All of this is on here for us to look at. We also have the petition for the order of protection, and there are addresses and stuff on this. So I'm going to make sure that I redact what I need to redact in order for there not to be issues. But Magnolia's real name seems to be on here too. I don't find an issue with that. Her name is Jamie Phillips, not a big deal. But when it comes to the address, regardless of if it's that piece of shit's address or not, I know that I have to protect my channel by blocking things out. But of course, I will have links to everything in the description box. And trust when I tell you, there's going to be a brand new folder now added to the Google Drive. Now, this seems to be the incident report, the police report that was written at the time of the incident when 911 was called. And if you notice, this happened on Christmas Day, 9:18 in the morning on Christmas Day. That's wild. The offense codes are this kind of non-classified assault, aggravated injury, assault with no weapon, harassment, and DV reports. And it looks like 5 different officers showed up. Yeah, that sounds about right. And as you can see here, they have Jamie as the victim and the complainant, and then they have JLR's ass as the suspect. And here's their vehicle in question. I guess that was parked at the residence. Narrative. The following report is a summary of an incident which occurred to my recollection. This report also serves as a summary of my involvement and understanding of said incident. Furthermore, portions of my involvement were recorded by audio and video on my department issue Axon body-worn camera. Please review the incident recordings for chronological order, exact statements made, and or for further information outside of this report. I have a feeling that's going to be probably out fairly soon. Somebody will have already asked for that, I'm sure. On 12/25/25, Christmas Day last year, so this literally just happened, 3 months ago? At approximately 10:21, I, Deputy Kay Talley, was working uniformed patrol and driving a fully marked patrol vehicle for the, is it Chelan County? Chelan County, one of those, County Sheriff's Office. I responded to the all-season River Inn located at 8751 Icicle Road in Leavenworth, Washington for a report of an assault. The victim reporting party identified herself as Jamie T. Phillips. Jamie told dispatch she received an injury to her nose from a fight last night with her boyfriend, Jonathan Riches. Maybe there's a date of birth or something there that they're blacking out, maybe. Rivercom was also informed Jonathan had taken Jamie's phone and left last night. So, wow, he took her phone and just took off thinking that she wasn't going to eventually be able to call the police. That's insane. Holy shit. I arrived at the location at the same time as aid. We contacted Jamie at the main entrance door. I could visibly see bruising around Jamie's right eye, consistent with being in the early stages of a black eye. I could also see a small red mark on the upper right corner of the bridge of Jamie's nose. Her nose was visibly not straight and resembled what I have observed through training and experience to be broken. Jamie requested we all speak in the room where her belongings were, which is the Shenandoah room at this location upstairs. Jamie advised sometime between 2300 and midnight, so 11 p.m. to midnight, she had confronted Jonathan about things she observed on his work phone. Oh my God. Jamie stated it was things such as communication with other women and that she described as corn. Jamie stated when she addressed this with Jonathan, he became enraged and struck her with a closed fist multiple times on the side of her head, her nose, and her ribs. Jamie stated she grabbed her phone and began to dial 911 for help, but Jonathan saw her doing this, took her phone from her, and said, "I will you." I asked Jamie if she believed this threat to be true. She stated she believed he would kill her. Oh my God, this is hard. Jamie stated she believes at some point she lost consciousness after the assault, but remembered Jonathan grabbing 2 bags, his personal cell phone, Jamie's cell phone, and then leaving.
Let that sink in. She lost consciousness, woke up, and he's packing bags, takes the rental car and her cell phone. Wow. And I think it was February 16th that the court ordered her the restraining order while he's outside covering Nancy Guthrie, pretending he's so innocent and loving and letting all the fans love on him. It's disgusting. Let's keep going.
I asked Jamie what phone she currently had, and she stated it was Jonathan's work phone that he left behind. Jamie stated she did not know where he went, but believed he may have taken the white Jeep Compass they rented. I observed a white Jeep Compass to be parked outside prior to making contact with Jamie. I asked Jamie if she would be willing to have her injuries photographed for documentation, and she agreed. Jamie agreed. Due to most of the medics on scene and myself to be male in one of the areas of injury requiring Jamie to lift her shirt, I asked a female medic if she would be willing to take photos of Jamie's injuries with my department-issued cell phone in the bathroom of the hotel room, to which she agreed and completed. These photos will be uploaded for evidence. Upon completion of documenting the injuries, Jamie was transported to the Cascade Medical Center for evaluation. I requested Rivercom to put an ATL out for Jonathan. I responded to the Cascade Medical Center and met with Jamie in emergency room number 3. I asked Jamie if she would be willing to complete a medical release form for documentation of injuries received from the assault. Jamie agreed and a medical release form was completed, signed, and provided to the medical facility staff. Jamie stated Jonathan had been texting the work phone, knowing he left it behind. He told Jamie he was 100 miles away from her and in the middle of nowhere. Jamie could not confirm the Jeep Compass still parked at the hotel was their rental, but due to it being the only one there and all the other guest vehicles accounted for, this was most likely the vehicle. Jamie believed Jonathan to be most likely still in the area, and their flight leaves tomorrow, which would require them to travel back to Seattle and return to vehicle to SeaTac where it was rented. I was also advised by Jamie that in August of this year, she was on a work trip with Jonathan in Charlotte. This was when she first found out about his infidelity and corn issues. Yeah, they always go hand in hand, don't they? She stated she confronted him and he attacked her in the hotel they were staying in. So this has happened. This was not the first time. This is not the first time. Jamie stated it was similar to this. He assaulted her violently and then took their rental car and drove back to Florida where they live. Jamie stated there is a long history of Jonathan assaulting her in their almost 3-year dating relationship. She stated she knows she should have left many times before this, but hasn't. Jamie stated Jonathan needs to be held accountable for what he did. How the fuck does this piece of shit talk about true crime knowing that he has no problem creating victims everywhere he goes? This is exactly why I have stayed away from him. This is exactly why I don't pay attention to him. This is exactly why I've spoken against him. What a piece of actual trash. After Jamie was discharged from Cascade Medical Center, I was provided a copy of the medical documents for this visit, and I provided Jamie with a courtesy ride back to her hotel. Deputy McComas and I searched the room prior to Jamie going back into it. The on-site manager was contacted, who changed the security code combinations for the front door and for the room Jamie is staying in. It should be noted that the white Jeep Compass bearing Washington registration that was observed earlier was confirmed to be another guest's rental vehicle and was not involved. Okay.
So he did steal the rental car, her phone, and took his Washington number with him because we heard it from Kruger and himself. Where this happened, he must have bought himself a burner phone after leaving his phone behind with Washington phone number before traveling to cover Nancy Guthrie. Yeah. It's almost done here. We'll listen to this last few minutes. Whoa, deep breaths, everybody. Deep breaths for those of you that are shocked with me and disappointed. Wow.
So they just assumed incorrectly because someone didn't account for their car and it really wasn't. So that means that he had it then. I have probable cause to arrest Jonathan Lee Ritchie for violating this code for second-degree DV, harassment, threats to DV, and interfering with the reporting of a domestic. Yeah, because he took her phone. On 12/26/25, I received a text message from Jamie on my department-issued cell phone that she canceled her original flight and booked a flight with a different airline and boarded without issue. Yeah, that was smart. On 12/27/25, I received a text message from Jamie on my department-issued cell phone that she was finally able to track Jonathan's location. He was traveling through North Dakota. It is not known at this time if he is driving back to Florida or to a different location.
Well, we know where he ended up. We know where he ended up. He ended up covering Nancy Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona. Wow.
Holy damn, bro. Now, this is the official court website. I'm not going to go through every little thing because there's been motions to continue that were filed and also one that was granted. Now, what we do have is what happened 2 days ago on 3/17/2026. A 3-year protective order has been agreed to. The attorneys are preparing the order. So it seems like they have until April 21st, 2026 to get the stipulations in order before it becomes, I guess, official and is active for the next 3 years. Now, what is included on this website is the actual petition for order of protection that Magnolia herself wrote out, which is like a summary of what's been sort of going on since their relationship sort of started. So we're going to jump down here to page 4 and read what she wrote. Beginning January 2023 and continuing through December 25th, 2025, I was involved in an intimate domestic relationship with the respondent, Jonathan Lee Riches. During the course of this relationship, the respondent engaged in a persistent and escalating pattern of domestic abuse, coercive control, intimidation, financial exploitation, and physical violence towards me. On 12/25/25, which was Christmas, the report we just read, the respondent violently assaulted me, causing extreme injuries. I'm sorry for my phone, guys, but it's like on the charger in the bathroom with the door shut, and it's just like super loud for some reason, and I just want to get this whole reading of this over with because this is just insane to me. Okay. He caused extreme injuries, including broken nose and septum, significant trauma to my head and ribs, requiring emergency care, CT scans, x-rays, and will require reconstructive surgery to repair broken and crushed bones in my nose. Remember, the police report, the police officer said it was very visibly broken. broken, very visibly broken. And it had been there for hours. All of this happened around midnight, and the cops didn't show up until sometime like, what, 10 a.m.? Yeah, sometime. This assault is currently pending felony assault charges, threats to kill, etc., with the chief criminal deputy prosecutor in Chelan. Again, I'm probably not saying that right. County, Washington State case. This is the one with, they're saying around the time of like the Travis Decker situation. That's whenever all this happened. Throughout the relationship, the respondent physically assaulted me on numerous occasions, including strangulation approximately 24 times. I'm sorry. That's an awful lot. What the hell? Okay. In August 2025, respondent committed a brutal assault against me involving beating me repeatedly with his closed fist. So 4 months before this, respondent threatened to kill me if I reported his assaults or if I called the police, called 911. Since the 12/25/25 felony assault, respondent has continued to accuse me by fear, threats, intimidation, ongoing financial abuse, theft of all of our joint funds, in an account of retaliation. They had a joint account and he took all of the money. Oh, wow. Okay. Respondent fled the crime scene, fled the jurisdiction, and remains a flight risk. He has continued to contact me, and I'm in fear of immediate harm and death. I mean, yeah, legit fear, I would say. Damn, man. Now, let's also remember that JLR has a criminal history as long as a CVS receipt. He has done a lot of very fraudulent things. He has done a lot of very, in my opinion, morally disgusting things. To even want to impersonate someone with a relationship to someone who did such horrible things just to try to get some sort of weird ass attention. I don't understand this type of person. Me having a distaste for this man did not come out of nowhere. It came from doing my own research about who he actually is. I choose to not blindly follow people. I don't care how many followers they have. I don't care how popular they are. I have never once in my almost 40 years been known to do anything trending nor popular. I will always do whatever the hell I want to do, regardless of what anyone thinks.
Okay, everybody. Wow. Let me know what you think. Very disappointed. Very disappointed. The coach in me likes to see people change and was hopeful. And no, I didn't do my investigation because, like I said, I had gross feelings about it from the beginning, so I just didn't follow him at all until Nancy Guthrie, and I thought, well, he's doing a great job, standing outside collecting things that, we might not know were evidence otherwise because everybody else has left the scene. But now I just have changed, I've pivoted back, and I'm regretting that I publicly stated that maybe he's deserving of a second chance, and thanks Jennifer Coffendorfer for giving him that second chance. I need to redact all that publicly now, so you do you, but thanks, Jules. I will not be following anymore. And this is not the first time there's a true crimer on YouTube who portrays themselves as being all for justice and innocence and transparency and truth and the letter of the law, who maybe isn't quite what they portray themselves to be. There's others out there, which has been very much part of the disheartening true crime journey that I've been on as a YouTuber myself, and have said that many times publicly. So thank you for being here, everybody. Love and light. Let's pray for Nancy.